Flight safety inspections and navigational systems are tested regularly, in some cases every 3 months. Experts say there's a need to keep costs low, which means an efficient navigational system is imperative.
So anything that can reduce cost. And that's where the term performance-based navigation comes in. And they call it PBN. And the reason being, you take into account the performance of the aircraft to get the best out of the aircraft with a procedure that you design for it to approach or depart the airport. In setting up a performance-based navigation system, you need navigation aids, that is beacons on the ground, by which aircraft navigate, and when they approach airports they make turns in certain places and descent in certain manners. The same with departures. So you want everything to be as smooth as possible. If you go from Johannesburg to Cape Town, over Sutherland, you want the pilot to put the engines on idle and never touch it again until they land.
And flight inspections are key to ensuring that navigational systems are performing as they should, especially at airports where there is zero visibility and pilots only rely on instruments. Bestbier says he hopes the advances in drone technology can help reduce costs.
There's the issue of how do you calibrate these things. Currently, they use big, expensive aircraft with jet engines to fly the different profiles. Now we have drone technology emerging. I expect this week to yield a lot about drone technology being used to cover a bit of the cost that normally is associated. And it makes it difficult for poorer countries to regularly calibrate their navigation and approach aids. So drone technology would go a long way in reducing those costs. It would also allow you a higher frequency of checking the systems. In other words, you make it safer over time.
And he says drones could also help reduce the risks related to flight inspection and help reduce carbon emissions. Bestbier says there are only a few flight inspection units in the world, but the risks are high as these test flights involve flying close to objects and the ground. Meanwhile, government says the liquidation of low-cost airline Comair is of concern, as this means a loss in airport tariffs.
For instance, if you talk about ATNS, from the contribution of Comair was around the area of 21% from the tariffs that they collect from that. And it's important to know as to whether there will be airlines that will be more than willing to come in and take those routes that Comair was actually operating on.
Chikunga says most airlines are under strain due to the COVID-19 pandemic and rising fuel costs. Renee Heine, SABC News, Durban.